Hi everybody! So today I want to talk to you about the top 3 ways that you can get more connected to your intuition, because it seems to be like that's one of the most popular questions that I get. Everybody has intuition, right? There's a soul inside your body. And that soul is infinitely connected to the universe. So because you have a soul in your body, you can absolutely connect with the information that your soul is providing. You can connect outside of the soul, and we're all one, obviously. But when I say outside of the soul, like let's say you want to talk to the angels or archangels, your spirit guides, maybe even people that have crossed over. Maybe you want to talk with the Akashic Records. Like there's so many different ways to connect. But what I want to share with you today is my top 3 ways that I actually used personally when I was learning to get more in touch with my intuition. Now, the first way is I'm connected with the angels first. That was just the easiest way for me. And I didn't really choose that. That kind of just like happened. So in order to connect with the angels, they're actually the easiest beings to connect with, if you can believe it. It's like way easier to connect with the angels than it is to connect with any other energy. And the reason for that is that the angels actually lower their energy to meet us halfway, like where we are right now. So they're very different than the Akashic Records, because in the Akashic Records don't meet us halfway. Like we have to have our energy raised high enough to be able to access the data in the Akashic Records. And that's when you hear people saying a lot, like, I try to get into the Akashic Records and I'm just so tapped out, like I can only be in there 5 minutes and then I fall asleep. And that's what's going on. Like you have to work to be in the Akashic Records for a long time. And when I first started working with them, I could only stay in 5, maybe on a good day, I could stay in 10 minutes at a time and 10 minutes per day. Now I can be in the Akashic Records 5 to 6 hours per day. Every day. But it took me 2.5 years to get here. It's over 3 years now that I've been working in the records. So it's like exercising a muscle. You know, you don't go to the gym one time and expect to be a bodybuilder from that one time that you go in, right? So it is working a muscle when we're talking about intuition, and practice is what makes it stronger and stronger and stronger, and commitment. A commitment to your own healing, a commitment to moving forward, to learning what you can learn, to being open. And once you have those intentions and commitments in place, which really is the first step, you have to do that first. You have to set that intention, you have to set that commitment, and you want to really get to a place where it's like, yeah, I'm committed to this. I'm committed to my own healing. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get more connected to my intuition and be available and open to what the universe has to communicate to me. Once you have that intention, the rest is gravy. So tip number 1, it's easiest, I think, to connect with the angels first. Now, this can be done in so many different ways. I'm going to list maybe the top 3 ways that you can do this to get more connected to the angels. The first way is in meditation. Now listen, I know when people hear meditation, sometimes it's like, oh, meditation, but how do you connect with the angels, blah, blah, blah. But it's not necessarily connecting with the angels through meditation. It's actually quieting the mind in meditation. You don't want to go into meditation all the time with like an intent to do this or do that or hear this or hear that, because you're going to hear whatever the universe needs you to hear right now. And the only way that you can hear what they need you to hear right now is if your mind is quiet. So meditation is not really about like, what am I going to get out of it? It's more about how can I get my mind super quiet? Now, if you're somebody, and I'm going to keep this super brief because we have a lot to talk about, but if you're somebody that has the monkey mind, I'm going to tell you my top tip for quieting that monkey mind. So Laura, great question. I'll answer that in just a second. So for quieting the monkey mind, what you want to do is if you have a hard time in meditation, what you want to do is light a candle. And you want to make sure you could see the candle flame, okay? And instead of sitting in meditation with your eyes closed, just sit and stare at that candle flame while you're breathing deeply, like into the count of 4 and out to the count of 4. So when you're breathing in, keep your mouth closed and breathe in through your nose. When you're breathing out, you breathe it out through your mouth, and do that to the count of 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And while you're staring at that candle flame, it's gonna distract the mind. The mind's going to be focused on the candle flame. So that's a good way to start. Once you get past that and you feel like, you'll notice that when you're doing this with the candle flame, you can like move through it really quickly. Like your mind feels, you feel calmer and more relaxed, like sooner than usual. You can probably get rid of the candle and just try it on your own, or try it with your eyes closed. Laura asked, what's the difference between connecting with angels and spirit guides? That's a great question. Angels have never been incarnated. There's only 2 angels that have been incarnated. That's Archangel Sandalphon and Archangel Metatron. They had different names when they were here incarnated, then they became angels. What an awesome surprise when you cross over and go to heaven and God's like, hey, you want to be an angel? I hope that happens to me, right? I would love to be an angel, but I'll settle for Earth Angel right now. So, that's the main difference, is angels have never really been incarnated. There's only 2 that have been out of the hundreds of different angels and archangels that we have. And yes, there are a lot more than what people talk about online as like the most popular ones. There are all kinds of angels, okay? And then we have guardian angels, we have regular angels, we have archangels. There's many different levels of angels as well on the angel rung. So spirit guides have been on Earth and have crossed over, and their next mission is to help other people, right? And they're doing it from the other side. So it doesn't mean they're going to be your spirit guide forever. Yeah, they're usually crossed over. And it's not always people that you know. Like a lot of people will tell me sometimes, oh, well, you know, I think my mom is my spirit guide. That may or may not be true. Sometimes we know our spirit guide because they were incarnated and now we think, oh, this is my guide now, but it's not always the case. In fact, most of the time I don't see that happen. So I hope that helps. But yeah, it's just really, I like the spirit guides because they're super like practical, like they know your path and like they've been incarnated. So they know the challenges that we're like facing on Earth. You know what I mean? Like the angels, sometimes I feel like they haven't been incarnated. So when they're giving advice, sometimes I'm like, I don't really think I can do that like practically on Earth. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's a different energy. But what the angels are actually teaching us is, and I used to be this person, the angels would tell me to do something and I would just do it no matter what. Like I didn't ask any questions. I was like, I'm just doing this. Okay. Because it came from an angel, so it's like, oh, I have to do it. But what I learned is that was a challenge for me. The angels were waiting for me to go, hey, Felicia, are you actually going to tell us what you want? Or are you just going to listen to everybody else except for you and your own heart? That was a huge, massive lesson for me. As a spiritual person, I'm like, why wouldn't I listen to an angel all the time? I was wrong. Like, they were teaching me, do what you want, and we're here to support you. So ultimately, I like connecting with the angels more. I just like the vibe that I feel when I connect with them. And I'm not super connected to my spirit guides. Like I know they're around, but I don't really even know their names or anything. I just never connect. And ultimately, I think we all just need to get to a place where it's like, do what you want, follow your heart, and the universe will move mountains through the angels, through your spirit guides to make these things happen. So that's my suggestion for connecting with the angels. First, try meditation, but meditation is a daily practice. Like that's just something for your own mental health that will help, and even emotional health, physical health. There's so many benefits to meditation. But if you want an actual like physical way to connect with the angels, get yourself some oracle cards, not tarot, different energy there, oracle cards. You can get angel cards. There's so many different brands out there. They're pretty gentle. And tarot, I have tarot cards too, but I have like a hard time reading them. Like it doesn't come to me naturally like it does for some people. So if you resonate with that, like great. But I like sitting down, and I do readings for myself 7 days a week, sometimes twice a day, depending on what's going on. And I just like having a deck in front of me where I can ask a question or set an intention of what I want more information on, and I can ask the cards. And this is not a difficult process, because don't think like, oh, I have to go get certified in this. No, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it right now. So all you have to do is, what's coming up for you right now? Like, think about it. In fact, put it in the comments if you're here. Like, what's coming up for you right now? Pull your deck out and let's see if we can get some answers for you. The cards are going to respond to your intention. So, and the cards are really the universe responding through the cards so that they can communicate with you. So it's not like the cards themselves are like talking to you. And I know some people might be like, well, actually, Felicia, that's not true. But I don't resonate with that. I know other people like might go that route, and I'm not judging it. Like, whatever works for you, you should do it. But for me, I know that like my guides are just coming in through the cards and like passing a message on for me. So something I do every morning is like, what do I most need to hear for today? Like, what's the most important thing for me to know today? And then the positions really matter. So I'll pull like 3 different cards, let's say, for the day. The first card will be, this is where I am right now. The second card will be, this is what I need to know that's going to most benefit me today. And the third card's going to be the outcome. Or the second card should even be, what action should I take today to get to the third outcome? But you see, even as I'm talking about it, like I'm thinking through like, what positions do I want? So all you have to do is tell the cards what you want to know from each card position. So for me, it's that. But sometimes it changes. Sometimes I'm like, I'll pull one card, like, what do you want me to know for today? And that's it, and I'll get a message from that. And let's say the message is like unclear, or I don't really get it. I'll pull an additional card and I'll go, I need clarification, because is this related to work? Is this related to personal? Is this related to a relationship? And I'll pull an additional card to get more information. So the cards are going to respond to what intention you set with them. Okay? I hope that helps. That's way number 1, connect with the angels. Ways number 2 and 3 are really easy. Now, if you guys haven't heard me talk about muscle testing, I freaking love muscle testing, you guys, like way more than pendulums, like 1,000% more than pendulums. So if you've never heard of muscle testing, it's basically, hopefully you can see this. You use your body like this in this position. Some people do this. It's harder. My fingers don't connect as well that way. So I do this one, ring finger to thumb. And what I do is like I ask a question. So I'm using my body to get a specific answer on something. So I'm just going to test my name right now. I have a video on this on YouTube, by the way. I'll link you guys below, because I'm not doing the whole process right now. And there's like a specific process to make sure that your body's giving you the right information. And I already know when I'm connected and when I'm not. So I'm just going to skip that. But you should watch that whole video to see the right way to do this. But you could try it with me right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say to myself a statement. Okay, and we'll do a question after this, but right now I'm just going to make a statement. I'm going to say, my name is Laura. I can't keep my fingers together. So I'm taking this like a hook and I'm making a statement. My name is Laura. And I'm not able to keep that. Now you want to make sure you're pulling with the same firmness each time you do it. But my body's going, no, your name's not Laura. No, not at all. It's not letting me connect. So I'm going to try it again. My name is Felicia. Way solid. Like I can't pull it through. I'm not holding any tighter here. And I'm not pulling any harder here. But my body's going, yep, your name is Felicia. That's accurate. So we can use muscle testing through the body. This is even like, let's say you're going to go get a coffee, right? You're going to go get something like that. You can ask, is it in alignment for me to get a hot chocolate today? Mine's kind of loose, like see how it's coming halfway through? probably because I already have one there. So I'll go ask a different question. Is it in alignment for me to get a second drink from a well-known coffee shop that we all know today? My body's like, no. Is it in alignment for me to drink more water? Strong yes. Am I dehydrated at the moment? Strong yes. So we can ask questions. Now here's the thing. They have to be a question that can get a yes or no answer. You can't be like, what's my boyfriend's name? Because your body's going to be like, what are you talking? Like, I don't know how to answer that. Because, you know, unless you're, you know, you can hear the answer through your intuition, like, and I can't even ask that because my body would be like, or my intuition would be like, just stop, right? But so you want to like ask questions that could get a yes or no answer. All right. So that's the first thing. Muscle testing. I'm going to link you to it. It's a free video on my YouTube channel. If you're not doing it, it's friggin' amazing. It's like one of the first things I learned, same time as the angels, that helped me boost my intuition. And here's the great thing about it. It's just a gateway thing that you're going to do. Eventually, your intuition will get so strong, you won't even need muscle testing anymore. I never use muscle testing anymore. Ever. I don't need it. Because every time I think, oh, I'm going to muscle test this, I hear the answer now. And I'm like, oh, forget it. I already know the answer. And that's what's great about muscle testing, is it really builds up that intuition. So don't think you can't do this. I started as a skeptic with zero belief in this. Zero. I was the biggest skeptic. And look at where I am now, working in the Akashic Records. I didn't even know what those were 3.5 years ago. Little did I even believe that you could speak to angels. I did not buy that at all. But here we are. Things change. Muscle testing can help you get really in touch with your intuition. Now, the third way that I like to stay connected to my intuition too, and this, I use muscle testing in this one that I'm going to talk about on days when I'm feeling a little tapped out energetically. Maybe I'm not as on point. I always see something like that happen for me on my resting days when I'm not with clients, right? Pendulum. Okay, so that's my pendulum. Really pretty pendulum. Really, really beautiful. It's already spinning, telling me no for something. There are lots of cool videos online about how to work a pendulum, but basically you could just write down on a regular piece of paper. You have to calibrate your pendulum, right? So it doesn't know like what direction to make things move and give you a response unless you tell it. So see, my hand's not moving at all. This pendulum's just moving on its own. It's telling me yes right now because I have it calibrated that when it turns clockwise, it means yes. And when it turns counterclockwise, it means no. So I'm gonna have it stabilize. There we go. I want it to be in a neutral position. Now when it's neutral, it's going forward like this. When I want it to say no, which is going to do right now, see how now it's moving counterclockwise. That's because I've set this up with my pendulum. Like I sat down and I asked it. So one of the first things I'll do if I start working with my pendulum is the first thing, it's in a neutral position now. The first thing I'm going to ask it is, am I getting true and accurate answers from the universe? I'm getting a yes. Nice big yes. And see, my hand's not moving. I'll bring my finger straight down. Not moving. It's just the energy, right? So one thing you can do if you're new to this is I used to like to write down on a piece of paper the word yes at the top of a piece of paper and the word no. I'm sorry, the word yes at the top and the bottom and the word no on the left and the right. And then if you're asking a question, you can hold the pendulum over the piece of paper. And that makes it kind of easy because it's, if you're asked a question and your yes and no are at the top and bottom, see, it's just, my pendulum's just showing you right now as I'm talking about it. It doesn't usually spin like this, but we're going yes, so it's going to spin forward and backward. And if we're going no, see, it's going to switch in a minute to left and right. So that would be how I have my piece of paper written. So that's your call. You just work with the pendulum on this and see. Thank you. It's been very cooperative today. Now, this is like muscle testing as well. Eventually, you won't need it anymore. Your intuition will just get so strong, you're going to work your way right past these tools and you'll come back to them here and there, maybe once in a while. They might not resonate anymore. That's okay. You'll just be connected in different ways and accessing the information in other ways. So I really wanted to do this video because I feel like I get that question a lot. So do you have any questions for me before I hop off? I would love to help you out. Have you experienced any challenges? That's like, I know one of the big questions is like, people always go, how do I know if it's like my mind or my intuition, right? That's like a big question that I get all the time. And it's very easy to find out, actually. Your mind will almost always discourage you. Almost always. It's going to ask questions. It's going to go, are you sure you want to do that? I don't know. Are you sure that's the right move? Like, remember the last time you tried that and you didn't succeed? You failed at that? Remember? Your guides will never say something like that. Ever. If they do have a suggestion for you to go in a different direction or whatever, they're going to be more like, wow, that's a great idea. Have you thought about this? So they're always going to come from a different perspective. And it can get a little tricky with the universe timelines. So I'll explain what I mean. You want to make sure you're staying really connected to like yourself. So timing is really important with things. So if you're feeling like, wow, I have this great new idea, but like, I don't have anything I'm able to like, initiate right now to get this done. I just don't have all the tools I need. The timing may actually just be off on your endeavor. Sometimes we get the idea, but it's not time to actually act on it. Does that make sense? It's time to sit with it, plant the seed, figure out what you need to make it happen, but don't jump on it like the next day. And if you've tried stuff like this in the past, it probably, quote unquote, failed. You know, nothing's really a failure. We just learn from these things, but this is where we have to get more in touch with timing and timelines. You want to know, like, did this idea just come in and it's not time for me to act on it? Or did this idea come in because like timing is critical, like this opportunity is right here? And you'll see that a lot with like an opportunity that just drops in your lap. And it's usually like after you were thinking about something, or you were like, oh, I was just thinking about doing something like this. And then the opportunity shows up. Now that's how you know the timing's on. It's like, don't miss that opportunity, go, because you already have everything you need for it. So that's kind of how you can evaluate that. I know a lot of people talk about like moving past your ego and like, you know, giving it a, you know, there's just so many different techniques on it. And the way that I do it is just like, I observe what I'm thinking. I'm literally an observer. Like I watch it like a movie, and I had to train myself to be like this, but I watch it like a movie now, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's an interesting internal dialogue I have going on. And I don't let it stop me. I just continue moving forward because my mind is chronically negative at times. And I totally own that. There are times when my mind is just so stuck on something that's like over and over and over. It's just replaying something from the past, or like, and I know when things like that are going on, basically it's time for me to take a break. Like my mind is just too connected to something. And the fastest way that I shift out of something like that is I take a nap. I take a nap. Other days I go in nature, but I find that if I'm in nature and my mind is still, woo, I just take a nap because it resets me. And I wake up and I feel better. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Naps are miracles. I mean, I wish I could be a kid again and like sleep until noon. Like this is such an awesome reset. So anyway, I hope that video helped you. We'll get this up on our YouTube channel so you can see it whenever you want. Go and check out my muscle testing video. And listen guys, I'm going to throw this out there one more time. If you haven't checked out my Akashic Records healing bundle, literally it's only 27 bucks and it clears your energy for you. Like over 3 hours worth of clearings, so that you could get your energy reset for 27 bucks US. I mean, it's an amazing deal. I'll link you to that below as well. And let me know what you think of it. I can't wait to hear. I'm sending you lots of love. Comment and let me know how you do with these intuition practices, whether you're muscle testing or doing the pendulum or in meditation. I want to hear how you do on that. Sending you lots of love. Talk to you later. Bye.